skills available in the market around Hadoop are really limited. And fact of the matter is, we have enough and more customers who have embarked on the journey of Hadoop and realized that setting up a pilot on Hadoop is not as easy as it seems. Forget going full-blown on Hadoop, which is where we have got engineered solutions with Cloudera, where we are bringing in our engagement with Apache, with ScaleMP to be able to do in-memory analytics. Murli spoke about Stratus. We have got Statistica, which can do predictive analytics. So that's the other part. So before I move to this slide, let me just encapsulate what we discussed just now. The future-ready enterprise will continue to be around in today's world, will be around workload ready, will be around VM ready, will be around cloud ready, will be around software-defined ready, and finally, around big data. If you're able to get a tick mark across all of these, that really would define that, yes, we are on the future-ready path, and we as an organization today are bringing solutions which help all of us to go to that path. There's a lot of number one, number two there, but very often it's the x86 architecture is considered to be commoditized. Reality is we are far, far away from that. There is enough and more innovation that is available on the same platform from us that can help you be much more future ready. For example, the latest portfolio that we introduced about a couple of months back, which we call as 13G, we are bringing flash a lot more, storage a lot more closer to compute. And that is something which will help increase your application's performance a lot better, make it much more workload ready. Talking about storage, we have got software tiering. The component range of products is truly a software-defined storage. Talking about network, traditional way of looking at networking used to be a north-south traffic. Let's face the reality. With the world becoming as virtual as it is today, it's moved from being north-south to east-west simply because the application might be sitting across different servers, and there is a lot more inter-server communication. And that really is where we are excelling with our portfolio. Finally, on Converged. One platform that's changing the way we have known compute is Converged. We had a very recent launch of a platform called FX2, where within a 2U server, we are able to stack up to 8 servers. In a 2U chassis, we are able to stack up to 8 servers. And think about it. If you want to be hyperscale, there's nothing better than this. There are multiple approaches to Converged. The one that we are on is Converged with compute at the heart of it. And that is something which is resonating extremely, extremely well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, reality of a future-ready enterprise is really how do you make your organizations a lot more agile, a lot more responsive to the needs of your customers, your internal and external customers. And everything that we spoke about is going back on how do you set your enterprise to be a future-ready enterprise. With that, thank you for your patience, and really thank you for coming here with us.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on, next we have a session which is a panel discussion. And I'd like to introduce our panelists one by one as I call them upon the dais, and I'd request you all to kindly put your hands together and welcome them. First, I'd like to call upon Mr. Vijay Sethi. He's the Chief Information Officer and Head Corporate Social Responsibility at Hero Motorcorp Limited, which is the world's largest two-wheeler manufacturing company. He also serves as a director on the board of HMC MM Auto Limited, which is a joint venture of Hero Motorcorp and Magneti Marelli of Italy. Ladies and gentlemen, he's also a member of various national forums, including CII's National Committee on IT, ITES, and E-Commerce, Chairman of MSME Subcommittee of CII, IT, ITES Committee, and the Chairman of IT Committee of Society of the Indian Automobile Manufacturers. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we have on the dais Mr. Vijay Sethi, our first panelist for this panel discussion. Moving on, I'd like to also invite Mr. Vipul Anand, the Group CIO with Jindal Steel and Power Limited. Please put your hands together and welcome him. Vipul is currently the Group CIO, as I just told you, and is responsible for Information Technology Division of Domestic and Global Operations of the Group. He's a Computer Science Engineering graduate, 1990 batch, with more than 25 years of strong industry experience spanning business and technology, and is a highly successful technology leader, having worked in India's leading business groups and has led their IT vertical. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we are also joined by Mr. Manish Gupta, Director and General Manager, Enterprise Group, Dell India. We just had a presentation from him. He manages the solutions around the server, storage, and networking portfolio for the India geography. Manish brings in varied professional experience from the IT industry, having worked in various leadership positions for organizations such as IBM and Lenovo over the last many years. Moving on, once again, we'll have Mr. Murli Mohan, Director and General Manager, Dell Software Group. We just heard from him, a presentation from him. In this role, Murli will be responsible for leading the software portfolio and driving growth for Dell's India market. He brings in the right skill sets in the critical areas of sale, operations, and marketing that are very relevant to Dell's emerging software business in India. Next, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Dalveer Singh Sira, Director, Windows Commercial, Microsoft India, and Mr. Jaspreet Singh, Director, Ernst & Young India, once again. So we have a very, very interesting set of panelists here, and Mr. Jaspreet Singh will be moderating the session, and so I'll hence hand it over to him, and he'll take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, Dell, Economic Times, Microsoft. So we've all obviously heard a lot of talk on how the future is going to look like for the enterprise. So I'll start with just taking your thoughts on this topic, and sir, would you like to start first?
Any specific question?
No, I think if you can just throw some light on how the connected enterprise would look like. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Hi, good evening. See, my view is it's not future enterprise, it's actually reality in today's day and time also. So that's why I asked if there's any specific question, because some of the things which both the presenters, Murli and Manish, spoke about, we also spoke about some of those things. Some of these things companies are already doing, it's reality in today's life, and some things where you spoke about the future role of CIO and those kind of things. To my mind, it's already there. So it's not future. So it's not future enterprise, it's today's enterprise. Only thing is, how many enterprises of today are part of that today's enterprise? That could be a question. Maybe it's 0.1%, maybe 0.01%. But for some of the enterprises, that future is now, and that's also tagline in many cases, that it's not that something will come. So cloud is there, social media is there, Internet of Things is there. The scale of adoption may not be as much as one would expect, but these are technologies which are not really somewhere in the air, but they are on the ground. People have started using these technologies. There are challenges also with each one of these technologies, and one will have to look at some of those challenges in a big way, because there are a lot of times when people really go with the hype of a technology and then suddenly realize that I've gone into something and I've not really considered the entire thing. It's not that if the challenges are there, you should not be doing those activities, but only thing is one should get into those with open eyes. Internet of Things, for example, we spoke about, I think you spoke about connected cars or connected enterprise as such. Now, while we may say that okay, it will help and it's already started helping, but are the people really, from CIO's perspective, from enterprises perspective, or even customers' perspective, are people really thinking about, apart from the normal benefits that are shown on a piece of paper, what are the downsides which I need to consider day one? Privacy. So if there's someone is really tracking me on every moment, am I really liable for any, as an enterprise, am I liable for any privacy suit that might come on me tomorrow? So am I covering myself from that perspective? In India today, the privacy laws may not be that stringent, but very soon they could be. So
But-
those, yeah.
But sorry to cut you on this, and that's a very interesting topic on privacy that you've brought up. There's this Section 43A of the Indian IT Act 2008. So, if you look at the connected enterprise, as you rightly said, it's all about being connected, you being tracked, all your data is out there. How will it affect our lives as such?
Our lives means as enterprise or as customer?
Both.
As enterprise, if the enterprise has to be very, very clear on if you are collecting all this data, how do you ensure that that data does not go into hands of somebody else? Okay, the liability of that data passing on to some hackers, to some terrorist group, to some other person or any other person, the end customer will sue the company.
Sure.
So is the CIO, CEO, CEO, other people, are they really ready from that perspective? Do they even understand that this liability is on them? Maybe on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, we are signing all the CEO, CFO, other certifications that we are adhering to all the laws, Section 43 of IT Act also. Do we really know all this? The implications of all this? Or is it just because I have to give it, so I'm putting it? So that's where we need to understand. Also from an end customer perspective, does the customer also know that he's being tracked? Or he is very happy that, okay, I have a fancy car which has all these things, maza aa gaya types. It may not be that, because while the guy who's selling may not have actually told him that, okay, while these are positive signs, these are also the downsides. So one has to be transparent from that perspective also. And that's where even customers need to be educated that yes, while we are giving this is also, so while you are signing on this, you please sign that, okay, this is what's being done. For example, if you get into any email account, there are 20 things which are clearly told to you that, okay, you are being tracked, your location is being tracked on phone, everything. Same thing we'll have to do at the enterprise level. And also think more from an infrastructure perspective. So from Dell's perspective, what is the impact of all this on the data which the enterprise really has to manage?
Absolutely.
So it's not just privacy, security, that's a big part, so that's your own domain and forte, I know, but at the other end, from enterprise perspective, what is the impact on enterprise costs? Now, even if I have a connected, say on our two-wheeler, if I put a chip, there's going to be a monthly cost of 400, 500, 600 rupees, which I may have to pay to Airtels of this world, Vodafones of this world. Who pays? Whether the company pays? The end user pays? Is my cost of acquisition of that two-wheeler, which was 40, 50, 60,000 rupees, suddenly you have a 5,000 rupees additional expense, which is way beyond even your normal maintenance charges. So all those things will have to be considered.
Thank you. Now, coming to you, Murli. So, what do you think will be the role of virtualization? We saw that you briefly touched upon that subject. But what will be the...
So, before I answer that, just to add on to what Mr. Sethi said, this is there's the two worlds out there, right? One is the genuine innovation that customers, well-meaning OEM vendors like us do out there. And then there are these bunch of innovators, but I'd like to call them rogue innovators, right? And these rogue innovators are the ones that we have to be really watchful of. You must have seen this in the papers, in the press. We keep, seeking solace in the fact that this is a reality of the West. We are a little far removed from it because we are in this part of the world. It's not yet come there. But more and more increasing instances of this coming to our country also. There's this whole notion of ransomware I've heard, where, in the earlier days, we used to feel very secure of our environment when we could fence from a security point of view our entire application layer and say, I'm secure because I have a brick wall around my application. But guess what? These rogue innovators are actually talking to endpoints right at the far end, the periphery of your Z-class security, as you call it. And they are taking custody of those endpoints and isolating that from the rest of the enterprise and actually threatening you, asking for ransom, encrypting whatever they see there at the endpoint and saying, you want this data back, you want this access back here. Here's this payment gateway, send me the money, dollars, whatever it is, and I'll let you go. It's a scary thought, but to the point that was made, is very important that this awareness is widespread. One is, what does the laws allow us to do, and are we just ticking boxes because we think everybody else is asked to do it, or whether we have to genuinely worry about these realities that are hitting our shores. On the point you made on virtualization, the only one add-on I would have to what I've already said is, it's very important for CIOs to also worry about data movement in a virtualized environment, because today it's very easy to, because you have a virtualized environment, it's very easy to add more virtualized environments, right? It's practically drag and drop to that extent. But in our enthusiasm to showcase and add more and more of these, we tend to create a whole environment out there of dormant virtual environments, also called zombie environments. And over a period of time, the very purpose of you embarking on this virtualization journey, which was to make sure that you're having control over performance while not making sure that you make the best use of your resources, the very fundamental premise of having a virtualized initiative itself gets compromised. So something for us to be watchful of. Today in this day and age, it's very easy to add an add-on to your virtual. You can create a server virtually in a matter of minutes, but those virtualized environments which are dormant over a period of time will come and hurt you, and the very purpose of virtualization.
So we need to know how much is too much.
Yes.
Thank you. Now moving to you, we've spoken about virtualization, we've spoken about privacy, security aspects. What do you see are the key differences between the traditional IT and the new IT that's emerging?
Yeah, very valid question. You see, the world in which we are living today has changed drastically. Whether it is our personal life or official life or our enterprise, we all must realize that 63%, and this Gartner says, people, they do shopping via mobile. 57% they say are the companies who have realized that cloud is going to make a difference. And then 40% of the people are there who socialize more online than socializing face to face. And likewise, the data is growing, and the kind of data which is churning out, which you shared in your presentations, this is all change of our environment. Now, this has impacted our organizations also. And as CIOs, we feel that it is our duty, it is no one else's duty, it is CIO's duty for the organization to make the organization ready for the future. For the past, we were responsible, we have done what was supposed to be done, but we have to ensure that we are ready for today and for the future. That's what is the difference I feel between the traditional IT and today or the future IT. So I represent Jindal Steel and Power, and we are a $18 million enterprise. We are into steel, mining, power, infrastructure. And this is an Indian multinational, and we have grown rapidly. Boston Consulting has reported us to be the third largest value creator, and also the 11th largest growing company as per their survey. So we have a huge challenge on IT. So with our experience, what I would like to share in response to your question is that CIO has got a big task to do. So one is you have to adopt new technologies. Second is, after you have adopted the new technology for your organization, how do you utilize the technology? That is another challenge. So you have to be ready that the investments which you have done in the adoption of the technologies, first, were they right, suitable technologies for your enterprise? Second, after adopting them, whether your guys, your stakeholders are able to utilize the technologies. And the third and important is whether you have capabilities to manage those technologies. And I feel attending sessions like what Dell, Ernst & Young, and Economic Times have been conducting is a good platform for you to learn about the new technologies, emerging technologies, and how to utilize. And then the biggest thing which our colleagues mentioned, Jaspreet also mentioned, is your capability to ensure the risk and threats on using this technology in your enterprise. That's the biggest thing. And then, do you have a combination of functional expertise as well as the technical expertise to run, adopt, and benefit from these technologies which you have adopted? These are the key things I feel which are important for all the CIOs to be considered in their day-to-day working.
Thank you very much. Really insightful. So Dalveer, being in Microsoft, we really like to know what is, Microsoft doing around the entire enterprise mobility space, as I'm sure you would be getting similar queries from a lot of your enterprise customers.
Yep. Extremely critical. I think this evening we have spoken a lot about cloud, we have spoken a lot about software-defined storage, networking, and I think mobility, and I think most of the people sitting in the room would agree, is extremely critical these days. There isn't a thing called mobile versus non-mobile world, because everyone sitting here, and I think most of us here, we all carry smartphones. So we are always connected to our emails, we are always connected to our chat systems, or whatever it is. And most importantly, normally if I give a presentation, I would put a PowerPoint up and then try to explain how a modern workplace look like, but let me try to do that while we are sitting on the panel. So I think all of you, if you try to visualize an organization as like this stage, on one extreme you got users in your organization, on other extreme you got IT. So respected sir, if you are the CIO of the organization, you are on this extreme. In between, there is a lot going on. Firstly, there are devices in an organization. So devices, here we are talking about, we call them consumerization of IT in a way. So there are different kind of devices available, different form factors, different size, shape, color, platform. So whether you talk about Android or Windows or iOS. Try to give user a device of your choice and not of his choice. He won't be that happy in the organization. So that's one area. And then there is cloud. We have spoken a lot about cloud. One is the applications. So if a user is unable to do his job based on whatever IT has to offer them, they try to find ways to do things differently. So they try to find an app that would help them do the task. So in a way, a shadow IT is born in the organization. Then there is data. The users, they try to use like low-cost applications or applications which are free to even access the corporate data. So I think the security turns out to be a critical issue in that case. And then the users themselves. Here we are talking about the younger generation. Here we are talking about the social collaborators who have come from a social collaborative world and they have entered workplace, and their expectation is that the infrastructure that would be offered to them will be of first-class citizen type. They would get the device of their choice. They will get applications to do whatever they have to. So they carry that expectation. So whatever the change in the workplace is, there is a lot of friction between where the user is on this side and where IT is on the other side. So from Microsoft perspective, what we try to do is to unify the environment. Take that people-centric approach where user is the center of the overall scheme of things. Having said that, we also need to consider that it's under control of IT. So from the security and the manageability point of view, IT has that control with them. So if I look at the enterprise mobility space from Microsoft perspective, or for any future-ready enterprise, how it's going to look like is the smart connected devices, giving productivity everywhere. That's extremely critical. So smart connected devices like Dell has got these wonderful devices, whether you talk about tablets or the two-in-one devices. These are the smart connected devices that I'm talking about. Offering productivity, applications to access whatever data they have to. But having said that, secure and managed environment, which is extremely critical from CIO point of view. So from Microsoft end, I think we always focus on that unifying approach. So devices, applications, the churning of data, managing the data, giving useful client insights, but all that managed securely and managed properly from the IT perspective. So that's the future of enterprise mobility.
Thank you. Manish, are there any success stories that you would have seen in your journey so far that you would want to probably enlighten the audience with?
Let me answer this question in two ways. majority of these success stories that you see around future ready are with the new age companies. Those are the easiest ones to pick. Right? And then we have our renowned panelists here, Mr. Sethi and Mr. Vipul. These are the brick and mortar companies who have really taken their enterprise to be a future ready enterprise. Right? The classic case is the web tech companies, is the cloud service providers. These are organizations who fairly well know that they are on a completely different trajectory of growth. And whatever they are doing in their infrastructure is really all aligned to be future ready. They know they do not have the wherewithal to go rip and replace a complete data center within 2 years or within 1 year, and they are the people who are really coming out with deployment of these technologies. Hadoop, for example, you go to any of the new age companies, you will see real life examples of Hadoop working and they doing the data mining and the intelligence that you typically do not see with some of the brick and mortar companies. And that's a great opportunity for all of us to be able to go and do. Let me name one of the organizations here. There's an organization called IIHT. They are in the training business, right? They were the first ones to deploy a significant amount of software-defined networking in their environment. And why did they do that? Because they realized if they were to go on the traditional route, they would not be able to provide the same delivery levels to their customers, which were the students in this case. And number two, the cost of doing that was prohibitive. So some of the new age companies are the best places to go and see how all of these technologies are getting deployed. Let me also give you another perspective, which, the question that you asked on virtualization. Reality is virtualization is a journey. It's never going to be complete, right? You're going to virtualize servers, you'll move on to storage, you'll move on to network, then you want to virtualize the entire data center. So it's a journey, and it's a journey which has to continue because it's a journey of efficiency. It's a journey of cost effectiveness. So there are enough and more examples that you have in the industry where the efficiency used to be, or utilization used to be in the 15 to 18% range, and that's a traditional scenario, right? And you go and see the amount of efficiency that virtualization has brought in by getting the same number up to a 65%, right? And these are real life scenarios, and I can tell you the people who have done it are right here on the panel.
Sure. So coming back to you, you mentioned a lot of things from a traditional IT versus new IT. So what are some of the new initiatives that your organization is taking to make sure you're geared for the future ready enterprise?
Yeah, many initiatives. In fact, as part of our IT strategy, whenever we draw a business plan for any of our business, we also define and agree a IT strategy with our stakeholders for all our domestic location business as also abroad businesses. And then we try to bring uniformity across the group in terms of adopting the technologies so that we don't have mix of technologies addressing our business needs. So this is the first rule when we talk about how do we manage. Then we always look into how do we adopt new things, new technologies. For example, you were talking about cloud. I must talk about GRC, governance, risk, and controls. See, all the organizations will have a ERP system, which would be up and running. And of late, organizations have also realized that ERP is not the game. It is analytics, the BI layer, in fact, the dashboards, which are required to run the business. And all the organizations have not only prepared themselves, but they have migrated to that. But having done all that, the basic is the data, the transaction layer. That has to be the most important thing which a CIO has to ensure. The roles, the authorizations, the access controls, which are also linked to the risk and threats for such a large organization. So we have taken initiative of implementing GRC and across our organization, and which starts from the day the person joins. The person joins, so he has a defined role, which is defined by his function and the HR, and it comes to IT. And then IT plays a role on agreeing what are the roles and authorizations. And we give a single sign-on, and we ensure that the person is provided the authorizations and roles to access the systems which he is required to do for. At the same time, we also ensure BYOD in terms of giving the right device to the person, because we have mix of people. We have a lot of experts also working in our group. And most of our senior members, they have their own devices. Minimum 3 to 4 devices they have. So the IT fraternity has a challenge to give them the right device so that they are happy. Let me give you a live example. We have got our own university, in fact 2 universities in case you are aware of. One of the universities in NCR, it's OP Jindal Global University, and it has been ranked as #1 law school in the country. So the IT setup is managed by our team, and being the group CIO, I went there for a review meeting. So I was chatting with the Vice Chancellor. Before that, my team was talking very high about the customer satisfaction and the technologies and the delight which they have ensured. It's a Wi-Fi campus and 140 plus foreign students, 40 plus foreign faculties and all that. So my team was talking very high, and I said, okay, let me hear from the Vice Chancellor. So I went to the Vice Chancellor, I was chatting with him. So the kind of feedback I got, and it's a very good example I must cite, is that we have to keep on adapting new things. So I asked, what is the feedback about IT? So he said, very good question. And he gave me an example that he said that there are a lot of foreign guests who come to the university. And when those foreign guests, they come and meet my Vice Chancellor, he asks for a feedback. So the expected answer in Indian scenario is that food was not good, guest house was not good, or the transport was not good, or AC was not working. So he said, the general feedback is that the connectivity is not good. The IT team is unable to connect the devices which they bring onto the Wi-Fi network, because we have a secure network, so we don't allow external devices to come and sit onto our network, and so on and so forth. So it's a huge challenge, and I took it as a feedback, and we have to leapfrog from the existing way of supporting our users to the new way, adopting new technologies. So GRC is one area, risk control, and then providing your network access in a right manner. The other area is cloud. So all of us have been hearing a lot of things about cloud, and all of us feel that organizations have to adopt cloud. But are we ready to adopt cloud? That's another question which we need to answer. So in our organization, it's a large organization, so we have grown at a very high speed. So across the organizations, we would be having hundreds of servers. So whenever they used to put a business, they used to put a server. Whenever they used to put an application, they used to put a server, historically. So of late, there was a huge quantity of servers, and my hardware vendors, with due respect, were very happy in selling servers, in supporting those servers, in signing AMC of those servers, and then license challenges, then application challenges, then data center challenges, and so on and so forth. So we realized that we should have our own cloud. So we have our own cloud data center, cloud-based data center, a virtualized data center, where we said, okay, all greater than 4 years old servers, we'll just forget, we'll replace. Wherever the age is less than 4 years, we'll bring them to our centralized cloud environment, a virtualized environment. And whenever there is a requirement of any compute capacity across the group, any location, you have to just sign a requisition form of the sizing which you need, and the person who is responsible for my virtualized data center will give you that compute capacity. So this has brought tremendous cost reduction, a lot of controls, a lot of discipline, and everyone has appreciated, because we have also ensured appropriate throughput of the systems which are hosted out there. So these and many more initiatives we have taken. We have also taken initiatives in terms of mobility, in terms of having our in-house team on, we call it a non-SAP. So the competitors of SAP, they normally feel happy when we talk our center of excellence as non-SAP. So we have got a non-SAP center of excellence where the team is churning a lot of portals. So in the fast-growing business, as you mentioned, people want a lot of automation. So the finance people, they want insurance portal, bank reconciliation portal, capex portal, and so on. So many portals. So we would be having dozens and maybe more than that count of portals running across the group. So we consolidated all those portals with a single sign-on using our own team. And we are proud to say that that concept has helped us a lot. And these and many more initiatives are there as part of our IT roadmap and plan. And we also value our partners, including Dell, including Ernst & Young, incidentally. They are working with us very seriously on GRC. And other partners who have worked with us in erecting these and many more initiatives which we have in our plan for the organization.
Thank you.
Just to add to that, one of the interesting things that we are seeing with a lot of customers is, as you said, sir, your departments were adding servers. These days, a lot of customers, their departments are going and signing up cloud. Right? So within an organization, you have scenarios where multiple departments are going and working with multiple public cloud providers. And by the way, that all comes down to governance and the regulations that you're putting in and the data flow between those clouds.
Yeah, in fact, a very valid point. It all depends on your business needs. You see, I'll give you a live example. You have to build in-house capability of the area where you have a long-term plan. For example, manufacturing certainly is an area where the enterprise should have in-house skills or in an in-house cloud environment or maybe. And there may be another set of requirements. For example, for my university, I have to put a application which enables all the prospective students to seek an opportunity to get admitted in my university. Then post-admission, the formalities of academics. Then after that, the formalities of attending the classes, the biometric attendance, and the timetable, and then examination. And then feedback to the parents, because everybody wants a mobile feedback, a dashboard feedback, and also for such kind of applications, we have not built our own cloud. So we have outsourced. So we have gone for a reputed ERP, which is available on a cloud, which is hosted on a cloud. So you pay per usage. So whenever you have a student joining your university and you know the duration for which he is supposed to be there. In fact, we have signed a campus level agreement with Microsoft. Incidentally, you are here. So whenever a student joins or a faculty joins, he gets an access to my system and I start paying. And it's a recurring OPEX model and which has helped us a lot. So it all depends on what the enterprise need is.
Thank you, Vipul sir, on showing us what all things IT is doing and what's the next wave forward. Vijay sir, now considering IT is doing all of these things, what do you think are, say, two of the topmost challenges that a CIO will face in the next 3 to 5 years?
There are many challenges, but let me start with basics. I think the biggest challenge that most of us face is skill set. Skills, whether with due respect to all the consultants, vendors, our own teams, but the skill sets are not there. We may say whatever we may say, but the fact remains people really don't know the in-depth of technologies beyond a point. Okay? So, and that's where challenges come. So we may implement any application or look at any solution or whatever it may be. For all the basic issues, yes, you can get it resolved. Moment it comes to something which is typical, I have a call center in China, I have someone sitting in Singapore, someone sitting in Germany, so somebody will log in your call, take a control of the system, all those things. And suddenly then you realize, entire word says the brain of IT is in India, but all the calls are going to China centers and the Germany centers and Singapore centers. Where are the skill sets? There are no skill sets. So the skill sets are only for the basic stuff. So we may talk of all the fancy things for future-ready enterprises. Do we really have skill sets? I can openly say that as a country we don't have. We'll have 4 guys. Any enterprise will have 4 guys, and the same 4 guys will come to presentations to all the customers. But when it comes to implementation, the other guys will come, will just also learn at that time. They'll learn at the expense of, or they'll call somebody and they'll get a mobile, telephonic, remote support. He'll say, "यहाँ click कर दो," he'll click over there. नहीं, चला नहीं अच्छा, चलो दोबारा करते, restart कर दो. So that's the skill set is the biggest issue.
Okay.
Okay, that's one. You asked for two, so I'll say two. If you
Sure.
want, I can stop at one also. I don't mind.
I hope there are not too many challenges.
Okay, no, okay, one. I'll not go into second one. Go ahead.
No, please continue.
I think the second is linked to the skill set, but somewhere it's on a serious note, it's an appreciation of the entire thing, appreciation of solution as a solution, rather than giving a point solution, but looking at the entire thing in a comprehensive fashion. So I may do a cloud, I may do a mobility, I may do something else, I may look at security, some bit of it. Most of the people, when they put in this, do not really think of the entire thing as one comprehensive solution. Do not think of likely challenges that could come up, whether it is integration challenges, whether it is end user challenges, whether it is technological challenges. They do not. And the thinking is more short term. Okay, this project is on, those 5 screens are okay, let's move ahead and move on to the next thing. Whereas these 5 things that we have done today could actually create problems somewhere else, maybe a few months later, or we might have to redo a lot of stuff because of this, which we are not. So most of the people or most of the solutions that I've seen across country, and I'm not talking any company in particular or any consultant or any vendor in particular, but most of the solutions that are offered are not really holistic. It's not just skill set issue, but it's also a issue that people tend to first look at their short-term gains. A project ho gaya na, theek hai. We'll see what happens later. Who cares? That kind of thing. So these are 2 big challenges. As far as technology is there, yes, technologies are enough stable technologies are available. So technology to me is not a challenge. Knowledge about reading on the entire thing on the internet, everyone has. So, but will internet really make them experts? You know more than what I know.
Thank you. And I think we're going into a very nice loop here. We started with traditional IT, moved on challenges of the CIO. One of the challenges was point of time solution or point of just a single point solution. Now, Dalveer, I'd like to know your views on how does a business leader look at this as compared to a CIO? And secondly, you know...
Sorry, I don't agree with that question. You're saying CIOs are not business leaders?
No.
You said that, no? How does a business leader...
So
all
probably
CIOs today are business leaders, so I don't agree with the question at all.
How does the CEO... So I'll rephrase it. How does the CEO...
Leaders can be the sales leaders as well. So those are the BDMs.
So how does the CEO look at this opportunity of a future ready enterprise? And what is it that they need to do to make sure that their future ready strategy is in place?
All right. So on top of the very brief introduction that our wonderful MC did for me, which is the director of Windows Platform, I'm the spokesperson for Windows Platform for almost all the enterprise customers like yourself. And mobility is one of the practice that I look after as well as part of my role. So if I look at it, I think there has to be like a differentiation with what I will call it like the BDMs rather than like a CEO, because I would differentiate BDM and IT leaders and see where the handshake needs to happen. So I think that's extremely critical. And whenever I talk to customers, I think the biggest challenge has been around empowering or balancing the user requirements that I spoke about earlier, balancing user requirements with a need to provide IT control. So that IT control is extremely critical whenever we are trying to balance those requirements that users are getting day in, day out. So that's something that we need to look at. Now, what like business leaders they are looking for is productivity for their users. What they are looking for is they should have great devices, they should have great applications, and they should provide delight to customers, whether through digital way or non-digital manner. That's what they are looking for. From IT perspective, they want to achieve whatever objectives they have set. So that's one thing. Plus, what they're looking for is to make sure that it's cost efficient, it's secure, and it's manageable. So that's the three key areas that CIO would look for. Now, from Microsoft's perspective, there are different components in this future ready enterprise, or when we look at the mobility side. We look at the productivity both from a sales perspective, so the solutions, there should be a mobile productive solutions, there should be sales productive solutions, there should be applications, whether it's line of business applications, that would help them be productive and be productive anywhere. So they use tablets, they use phones, they use laptops, whatever they use, they should be productive wherever they are. But having said all that, it should be secure and managed. So that's extremely, extremely critical. So the handshake between a business leader and a CIO is extremely, extremely critical to get onto that enterprise mobility landscape, or to build that enterprise mobility strategy, which is like a future that we are seeing in addition to whatever we have done, whatever we are doing, like Sir said, around cloud adoption. Mobility adoption going to be extremely critical, and the most productive way that our sales teams in various organizations can leverage, be efficient, and get onto that path of using both cloud and mobile side by side. So that's going to be that extremely critical phase.
Great, thank you. One quick question. How do you see the role of government emerging in this entire play?
Well, there are a lot of initiatives. I'm not the expert, honestly, but a lot of initiatives that you can see closer to home, closer to Delhi, in terms of a lot of opportunity for vendors like us to participate in what the government is trying to do from a mass, take, for example, the Make in India movement, for example, and such. Digital India is the other one. All of these are the right steps in bringing governance closer to constituents, people like commoners like you and me. So for us, IT vendors, not only is it a huge opportunity, no doubt, but it's a huge responsibility at the same time, because we've got to be very sure about the consequence of what we are selling or proposing. It's not about making a sale and drawing revenue, a very point in time, very narrow-minded view of things, but in terms of the overall larger impact it will make to the future of how business or how lives are lived to an extent, how it impacts citizens. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question, but I see it personally, my personal view is, it comes with a lot of opportunity balanced with a lot of responsibility for vendors like us.
Thanks. I think that was the point I was looking for, that it's a huge responsibility on each one of us as we go on and move towards the future connected enterprise. Thank you. Before I hand over to the audience for questions, one last point. What's happening to the new Windows 10, and when is it going to see the light of day?
I'm very passionate about it. So that's where I am. I have joined Microsoft, it believes, because I'm 8 months old at Microsoft. I've spent my entire professional life at IBM. But I think that's one big thing that I'm going to be working on in next few months. This is the first time ever, I repeat that Microsoft would be launching a platform. Before launching the platform, we have released the technical preview of Windows 10. So users like yourself can install Windows 10 on your secondary machine, or you can even do it on your primary machine, because I'm using it on my primary machine right now. So you can install, you can give us feedback as we develop, and we continue to refine the platform. So now there are a number of things that's going to come in Windows 10. So there are technical sides like the security and the manageability, which is part of the platform itself. Like you talk about the multi-factor authentication, you talk about facial recognition authentication, you talk about a number of other things that's going to be inbuilt in the platform. But there is softer side as well. So we're going to introduce, and it's already on my laptop, if someone wants to see it, I can show it to them, that we're going to have an intelligent personal digital assistant on your desktops now. So, sir, I'm not saying that you don't need an assistant anymore, but there would be an assistant on your desktop as well with whom you can talk to without talking to your assistant. So you can talk to your personal digital assistant and you can ask things like, show me the Windows 10 presentation that I sent to Murli a few days ago. And it will pop up that presentation in front of you. So it will search your hard drive, pick that presentation and pop it on your desktop that this is the presentation that you have sent. It can even do things like whether I need coat today. So it will tell me the weather. Nah, it's 34 degrees. You don't even bother about wearing a coat. It's all fine outside. So it has gone to that level. So those kind of intelligent, voice-activated, personal assistant, plus that's one story. But for enterprise customers, the security, the manageability, that's going to be extremely critical. So an opportunity to build universal applications for various form factors, that's going to be big in the Windows 10 world. It's going to be out this year. If you want to install on one of your secondary machines or even on your primary machine, go to insider.microsoft.com. You can install it, and it would not require any reload or replace or that kind of a thing. It's an in-place upgrade. So in 30 minutes, you will get Windows 10 on top of whether you're using 7 or 8.1. So it would just upgrade to 10. So when I did it, it took like 25 minutes and I was using Windows 10. And we are giving you updates on monthly basis until we reach the launch. So whatever you're seeing right now is just scratching the surface. Maybe it's 30-40% of what will actually come in the release. But there is a lot already in there that you would love. So extremely passionate about it. There are a lot of benefits that's going to come for our enterprise customers as well. So I'm excited and hoping you all will be very happy to use it. And the last thing, this is going to be the last major release of Windows ever. From here on, you're going to get updates once you install it. So there's not going to be any further major release of Windows ever. So that's going to be the last one, and thereon it would be updates.
So Ajay is actually thinking about the huge migration opportunity for Dell software. Is that what you're thinking, Ajay?
So we have already spoken about it. We're going to be very busy from July onwards, maybe afterwards.
So is it coming in July then?
Nah, I didn't say anything.
Okay. Thanks to each one of you for these wonderful insights. And now I'll open the floor to the audience and please ask them as many questions as you can.
There's a question.
My question to Dalveer Singh, that Windows 10, is it only a desktop OS or it is the simultaneously for the mobile OS also?
So it's going to be one OS across the board. So it would work on phones, tablets, or desktops. So it's going to be one OS that you're going to see across the board.
One single integrated OS.
Yes, yes.
And that voice assistant you are talking about, that is the Cortana you are talking about, which is already available in 8.1 in mobile?
No, this is Cortana I'm talking about. So it's the Microsoft version of, you must have heard Siri.
Siri equivalent to Microsoft is Cortana, I believe.
Cortana, exactly. So
but that is available in US and UK.
Not on the desktop. Not on the desktop. It's going to come to your laptop now.
Okay.
And on your tablets. So it's available on my phone right now. So I can use it on my phone, but it will come to your desktop. So on your laptop, you can actually talk to your laptop.
So at the same time, it will be available in the mobile devices in India?
Sorry?
At the same time, it will be available in India on the mobile devices?
So we are just trying to figure out the mobile side of things. So we haven't got a definite date as yet, but there would be announcements coming out on that, on how it will happen. But it would be Windows 10 for phone is right now under the technical preview as well. So it's all happening as we speak. But what I'm using right now is on my laptop. So there is a build number, which is say 10,041 that I'm using. And it has got more enhanced features as compared to what I was using like 3-4 months ago when we did the initial technical preview launch.
My question to Mr. Dalveer Singh, the way you are changing the Windows 7, 8, 10 and all, and at the same time you are stopping giving help for XP and all. I think for India it's very, very expensive to, in case you are stopping the giving support for the old technology. So I have to keep in mind somewhere, I think in India, people are not afford new technology, but at the same time, by the time they master the one technology, one operating system, you are stopping the sport. That I think you have to look into that. Anything you are doing in that direction.
Yeah, the thing is, I think it's extremely critical because the amount of investments that we are making into building these platforms or evolving from where we were at the XP days, which was one of the most popular, I believe, the platform or OS we had. I think it's extremely important that the way the world is changing, that you use the latest technologies or the latest platform which is more suitable for the market right now, rather than using something which has been obsolete and it would not support the requirements that you have right now. So we are leading to a cloud world, we are leading to a mobile world, and Windows 10 would address those changing landscape issues or challenges more than as compared to XP. So say, for example, I'll give you an example. Dell has got these wonderful machines, Dell Venue Pro, 2-in-1 machine. So what you can actually do is you can detach the tablet from the keyboard. Now you use that machine on an 8.1. You would always be in like a desktop mode using that machine. With Windows 10, how we're going to change it is, once you detach that tablet from the keyboard, it will automatically pop up into a touchscreen mode. As soon as you attach it to the keyboard, it will go into the desktop mode. So the platform is intelligent enough to detect that this person is using a keyboard and a mouse. I should give him the start button and use keyboard mouse. As soon as you detach it, it says, oh, he's not using keyboard mouse. I'm going to give him the touch functionality. So I think your point is, right, XP has been there, it was successful, but I think we really need to evolve and use the platform which is right for the environment that we are in right now, which is more cloud, mobile first, cloud first world. Sorry, I'm getting all the questions. I told you Windows 10 going to be all the excitement.
So let me have a question, and this is for Mr. Sethi. Hero MotoCorp has come a long way. I still remember the ad campaign that you had those days. Fill it, shut it, forget it, right? And that was the kind of change you brought in the system in the way we used to move from one location to the other. From that standpoint till today, where you're expanding to almost like 23 countries, right? That's what you said. How difficult or easy was it for you internally to drive the change of IT landscape, keeping in mind the kind of journey you had on the overall scheme of things? So how easy or difficult was it?
It's quite easy. There's nothing difficult about it. I think the key thing is if as an enterprise, as a corporation, we think that IT is really bringing value to the entire system, the rest everything is mechanics. So I don't say that it was a difficult journey. It was an easy journey because everyone understands that yes, IT is bringing tons of value to the business. We are perhaps the only company in India which for last 4 years has been making an IT annual report. No one in India even imagines doing that, but there's a formal IT annual report that we make. Our IT budget over last 7 years is, I think, gone up more than 20-25 times. So I don't think, while most of the companies would talk about a budget reduction, touch wood, we're going like anything. So, and it's all because of value. It's all because it doesn't mean that if we have budget, it's just spent for sake of spending. But we know that for every dollar that we spend, there's maybe many more dollars that the company really gains. Also, anything at the end of the year, as part of the annual report, one thing that I really formally give to my board is if my last year's budget was so many $1 million as an enterprise, all the entire leadership team members individually and cumulatively say that this is what IT has delivered. So the head of sales and marketing would come that, okay, you gave me, say, I'll put a number. So you spent $20 million, say 120 crores on sales and marketing. But I know that my net profit that I could contribute to the company, out of that maybe 500 crores, 400, whatever that number may be, I'll attribute directly to these initiatives that have been taken by you guys. Similarly, others would say. And that's how I make my IT annual report. When at the end of the year, I say that, okay, I've spent so much, the company has gained so much, next year I want 50% more, well, fine. Kya farak padta, because at the end, company would also gain more. So it's been an easy journey. I don't ever claim that it's a difficult journey. As was going to 23 countries, yes, over last 1 year, we have 1.5 years, we moved from being present in 4 countries to 23 countries, 19 countries are there, additional. Is that a difficult part? I think the difficulty over there is just the mindset of the people. There are a lot of people who are not used to working in a global environment. Technologies are also launched in India as they are launched in some of those countries. So that's not an issue. The issue is skill set, issue is mindset, and if we take care of these 2 things, the rest everything is easy.
Thank you.
While we've been talking here mainly about cloud mobility and so on, how do you look at the future of coding in the future enterprise? That is, will we still require these coding skills and still do it the traditional way of coding, or it will be a totally configured kind of a environment?
People you are asking, of course, Windows 10 guy.
Anyone?
I think I might not be
Anyone actually, anyone.
Again, it's the same point that I raised right up front. Is it future of coding or is it current coding? There are tons of applications today which are available. You can actually build a software or build other things without writing a single line of code. They're there today also. So it's not future of coding, it's today's coding. The key thing, as I see, my view is perhaps the software is becoming much more complex. The amount of complexity that is getting into software coding, including coding and other aspects, including Windows 10 or other things, is becoming hugely complex from a back-end perspective. And all the organizations are trying to put in, and that's true not just for IT companies, but for us also, any enterprise also. We're trying to put in all the complexity at the back end, whereas the end user sees it as if it's a kind of walk in the park kind of thing, that, okay, you just click over here, the entire screen goes down, you do over here in Windows, you turn it, the entire thing changes. But the amount of complexity behind that coding is so high. So that's where I see the future of coding, that the entire complexity will be at the back end, which is already starting to happen. But for a coder who is there at the front end, nearly every individual will become a coder. So with some of those new BPM tools, for example, if you can drag and drop and create a workflow. Earlier you would call a guy, he'll take 1 month to first understand the entire thing, then take 3 months to develop it, then you take 6 months to test it. By the time you forget what you had asked. But now you can actually, on a BPM tool, maybe do it in 1 week or 10 days. But you're doing the same code.
I agree, we have progressed from where to what we were, let's say 10 years back or whatever, but still ABAP, for example, in SAP environment, there will be at least some 20 ABAP programmers.
Yeah, so over a period of time, even that will go. Over a period of time, as I see, even that will go. So they try to move into Java, SAP try to move into Java, other types of coding. I think the fact also remains, legacy is here to stay. It's not the entire world will modernize. Even in US, even today, you have tons of banks who might be running on COBOL, or there could be people like Ajay who are eyeing at that business of migration, not just at Windows, but also migration of COBOL into some of the new things. So legacy will continue, and that's what your own organization also is looking for, that business from that perspective in US. So those things would also continue, but for the future, the new things which will come, I think the challenges will be more at back end than at front end.
See, another point which I just want to add, very valid response by Mr. Sethi. Adding on to his point, you see, and this is linked to your question of traditional versus today and future IT. See, apart from coding, the biggest challenge for CIOs today is also to have a domain expertise. You see, you might be having very good coders, and they would be configuring or customizing your applications. You talked about ABAP, they would be developing thousands of ABAP codes. But you should also have right set of functional people who are linked to IT, who can take that product to the customer, to the end user, and get it utilized. And that's where he talked about the BPM layer. You see, there are now applications which are self-service model. And it makes our life easy. If you empower the user, the end user, to configure, pick and place, drag and drop, and use it himself. Because all the youngsters who are coming in our enterprises, in all the enterprises, are all tech savvy. So gone are the days when there were conventional users. Now they are more demanding users. So the challenge of CIOs also become double. So a solution to this, which we have successfully done, they would have also done, and all of us are doing, is to have a layer of functional subject matter experts between IT and the users. And it helps a lot. And especially in large organizations like ours, where we have across the geography users. For example, if you are deploying an application in financial systems, so you do it successfully in your Gurgaon facility or say Noida facility, but you have to do it at other locations. So you will have separate set of users with separate set of requirements. So if you have a single person who is a SME in between you and the finance fraternity, it makes your life simple. And it is linked to your question. So you empower more to the users. And as Mr. Sethi rightly said, the life cycle of software development, customization and all is going to continue. I think Manish gave a very good presentation of the Dell software systems. Mr. Murli gave a very good presentation. So all that is going to live, and we have to be ready. And that's what is the topic, the making you future ready.
So I just want to add a point, and some of the excellent points made were around coding and applications and all. So from Microsoft perspective, and that's where I think that functional layer is extremely critical that you just referred to, we got tools available that we can give organizations for free, that we can enable you guys to build applications by yourself. So it's more like in an Excel sheet, or it's more like a drag and drop. So you can build applications for your organization. So we can organize a train the trainer kind of a session with you where you can build applications at your pace. So the non-technical guys can even build the application. So we are kind of enabling users that Sir was referring to. So that's extremely important. So here what we can do is, say for example, the CEO is looking for a dashboard of how the sales have been for that specific quarter. You can actually build a application based on the data you have at the back end, and you can just refresh that application on like weekly basis or fortnightly basis, and it will give you that dashboard with all the pie charts or whatever charts that you need. So even a non-technical person can build those kind of applications. If you want to know more about it, I'm happy to help on that front as well.
I'll give you a live example if time permits. You see, it's a huge challenge, taking on his point. I'll give you an example. In my previous organization, Aditya Birla Group, I used to handle international business. So we launched a website for our international business. And the team was very proud to launch that website. And after the launch, I said, okay, let us take the feedback from the local people. So this was a country called Thailand. So in one of my review meetings, I said, okay, let us take a review. What is the feedback of this website which was developed for your business? To my surprise, the sales and marketing head, he responded, you see, your website is not good. I said, okay. Next he said, he has a team member in sales and marketing who has developed a website which is a replica of my website, which was launched, which is having better features than what were launched. So it gave us an insight that if you don't take the practical aspects of your user community, you are bound to not, first of all, you will not get appreciation of what you have done. Second is you will have a challenge of somebody else standing in front of you with a better solution. So I think CIOs have to be very alert in delivering the right things at the right time, in a right manner with appropriate technologies. And that's what we all are there in the organization to ensure.
Thank you so much. We'll be very happy to take any offline questions because I think we're sitting between you and dinner time. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you the organizers. Thank you distinguished panelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. May I request you all to kindly stay back a couple of more minutes. We'd like to thank each one of our panelists here. And before they leave, as a token of gratitude and appreciation, we have small mementos. I'll request Mr. Ajay Kaul to kindly present the mementos to each one of our panelists here. I'll request our panelists to kindly stay back for a moment. I'll request Mr. Ajay Kaul to kindly give away the mementos to our panelists. These are as a token of appreciation and gratitude from our end. I'll request you to first present a memento to Mr. Vijay Sethi. To Mr. Vipul Anand. To Mr. Manish Gupta. To Mr. Murli Mohan. To Mr. Dalveer Singh Sira. And of course, Mr. Jaspreet Singh for being such a wonderful moderator. Thank you very much once again, gentlemen. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of our today's program. Thank you all for being here, for being a part of this event. We look forward to your feedback, so kindly take a few minutes to fill up the feedback form and also the meeting request form and give them to us at the registration counter outside. Also, as you give us your feedback forms, you can also collect mementos, small mementos from our end for yourself. Thank you very much. Please join us for cocktails and dinner, and you'll have a great evening. Thank you.